Hello and welcome. My name is Tracy Templeton. I am the district-wide autism specialist, and I just wanted to come to you with some ideas for your at-home instruction while we engage with distance learning. I know this is overwhelming to you and to many people. It's a time that feels a little uncertain, and we want to create spaces for our kids that have structure and that can help them to feel more secure. So I am going to give you some easy ideas for at home. I don't want any of these things to feel overwhelming or stressful. I just want to give you some ideas and some websites or different places you can go if you aren't able to access the websites. I'm also going to give you some simple paper and pencil ideas for you to do with your child to help structure their day. I also want you to know that we miss your children immensely at school and are excited for them to come back ready to engage with us again. So here are some ideas that I created. One of the things that we use often for our students are our first then kinds of schedules, and this could be put on a piece of paper, it could be on post-it notes, it could be any way that you are able to create this. If you're able to print this out, you can find this kind of a visual just by putting in first then visuals in your search bar, and you could print that out as well. Creating daily schedules and checklists for your kids, older kids, the one on the right, and I added the website that I found this in. And also I would highly recommend just using something as simple as a post-it note. And the next visual is from a parent that has allowed me to use her suggested visual that she's using at home for her child, middle school age child. Just a really great tool to create some structure within the day and to support finishing tasks, feeling like you've done the task and what you need to do and what you've done. It gives kids the ability to choose so that that child could write a letter or journal, the middle one, and do that first, or play with his brother first. And so it really gives some flexibility and some choices. Weekly preschool planner. This is another place you can go. Teachingmama.org is a great website that gives ideas for how to create some structure within a preschool or early childhood age group. I wanted to do just what it might look like, a written schedule, and just very simple on a white dry erase board, but it could also really truly just be on paper, just a regular paper pencil kind of thing. I do suggest doing a half a day, even for older kids. I think it can feel overwhelming if there's 25 things on the list. And so at that point where I say go outside, then we're doing the next half of the day. These could be something that you keep and that you repeat, or you can rotate and change it around. For older kids, I like to sit with them and have them help me create their schedule. And so if math is preferred and they would like to do that first, or they would like to save that to last, those kinds of things can be helpful in reducing that child's stress. I tell people, adults, always to use as many verbals as they can and cut out the verbals and use as many visuals as possible, because visuals really are a tool that can't be argued with. A timer can't be argued with. The schedule can't be argued with. It's those tools are what it creates a rule for the child that's outside of you. So they're seeing it that way. With distance learning, I'm hoping the child will see the schedule as something that's been mutually agreed upon between the teacher and the parent, and so those schedules will be created with the support of the teacher, and certainly that you are not, definitely not in this alone. Teachers are working very hard last week and this week to create really rich interactions with their students. And so those visual tools that you're going to support them with at home are going to be in concert with that teacher. And so just knowing how to help support that. Warnings before changes occur. So one of the things that can be really hard, and right now this is all change. There's so many changes. I know your children, many of them are saying, when's the bus coming? When am I going to school? They're concerned, they're missing their teacher in their interactions with others, even maybe particular items within the day. So just knowing that those changes are really hard and acknowledging that, but also how can we, if you're going to change the schedule at home, maybe you have more than one child, you're having to support multiple children or doing different things, letting them know that something is going to change and warning them about that. Another great way that we have done at school that you could do at home as well is organizing tasks on a popsicle stick or on slips of paper in a jar, and giving your child the ability to choose so that they're feeling like maybe they can switch up their day and make things a little more interesting. Maybe if you have multiple kids at home and you're going to trade off doing different tasks in the house, you can have them choose in that way as well, the chore jar. Sensory breaks. So our kids do need to take breaks. What's recommended is a 2 to 3 minute break for every 15 minutes of work. And so depending on your child, you know them best. Younger children, obviously that will be a much shorter period of time. Older kids, we can often push them up to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but even an older child or even an adult needs a break, some kind of a stretch break, a walk, go get a drink, that kind of thing. Using a visual timer is really powerful and can help support being able to sustain tasks. And so just allowing the use of a timer and then having just giving a break. And I'm going to give you some ideas. So sensory breaks can be a variety of things. Playing a chase game, running in a circle, spinning in a circle. If you have a spinny chair at home, some kids like spinning. Going, if you're able to, go up and down stairs in your house or into a backyard if you have that option. If that's not an option, just really getting creative and using the things in your house. Crab walking on the floor, anything that will just get that sensory movement and give that child that break. There's some good ideas for timers. Timers don't have to be beautiful. They don't have to be fancy. I use my timer on the microwave in my kitchen when my children were little. If you have an old egg timer like this, that can work as well. Timers on your phone. There is a free timer called Kitty Countdown that you could get on your phone that's fun and interactive, and it just shows the time elapsing so that the child can see that time going away. Stress level, and a lot of your children will recognize. Let me go back one slide. I had a little technical difficulty at my house with something falling off my wall, so that created a little disruption. I apologize for that. So one of the tools we use often at school, and many of your children will recognize this, it is a stress scale, the incredible 5-point scale. You can find this resource online. And one of the things that I would encourage is that you help your child to rate their feelings, talk about how they're feeling about learning at home, and just helping them to say, I'm really in a good place, I can handle this, or give them room to say, I really need a break and I need to just take some time away. And so this is another way to help guide your child through that. And again, this could be drawn on with a piece of paper. It does not have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it is something that many of your children would recognize. Again, this is a fillable form that you could do with your child. It's a fabulous way to help them express their feelings. Often it's easier to give something a number than it is to have to say the word for the way they're feeling. And so this is another way to help support that. And again, this is the website at the top, www.5pointscale.com, and they have a lot of different downloadable scales. Another great tool that we use that correlates with the 5-point scale, the two people that created those different tools work together. And so kids might talk about their zones of regulation, just so you as a parent know what that means. If they're in the blue zone, you know, I'm just kind of tired, I don't know what to do, I feel sad, those kind of things. And this would be another way for you to help support them communicating how they're feeling and then what they could do if they're feeling out of control. One of the, this is a great visual for a calming sequence that kids can practice and that we've had many kids practice and use. 5 deep breaths, leg presses, hand presses, and head presses. And again, many of your children will have already seen these tools, and so it might be something that you could talk to them about and cue them to try when they're feeling stressed. Another thing that can be helpful is just stopping and having a snack, sitting quietly, or going for a walk. And because we can still go outside and we're encouraged to go outside, I would encourage you to take your children outside and get fresh air when you can, because I think that can be very helpful for all of us. Another visual that we've used with kids, it can be helpful, and again, you could just write this on a piece of paper. I will take 5 deep breaths. And you're going to practice each of those with them. The one thing that I've noticed is the calmer I am when children are struggling, the calmer they can become. And so just myself taking a break when it gets stressful, but also allowing children to take breaks as well. Another thing that particularly older kids, but I also think that younger kids could do this, is have your child write things down in a journal. And if they can't write yet, if they can't write sentences or write words yet, have them draw out how they're feeling. And this just really can allow them to move on and just not get fixated on something that they can't change. And right now, I think kids are feeling like there's a lot of things that they can't change. They can make an appointment at a mutually agreeable time. Just maybe you can't right at that moment. You're working from home yourself, you're working with your other children, and you are attempting to do something else. You can have them write it down and you can talk about it later. And then these are also things that they might want to talk to their teacher about, and so you can say, well, then you won't lose track of that thing that you wanted to talk through. And last but not least, I put some references on here that are some really good resources for finding visuals or social stories, things that can help you support your child through distance learning. And I will continue to update the resource list and send those out as they become available. So thank you for what you're doing for your child. We are here. We stand ready to serve your children.